Welcome to Tradutex Portuguese Lessons Podcast. Olá, eu sou a Helena, and on this episode we're going to carry on talking about the numbers, os números. On the previous episode we've learned numbers from 0 up to 20. In Portuguese, 0 até 20. You might have recognized the word até. Here I'm using até to translate up to, but on episode number 2 we also learned that até means until. Remember, on several expressions we used to say goodbye, such as até amanhã, see you tomorrow, or até breve, see you soon, and so many others that you can go back and see again on episode number 2. So we've learned numbers from 0 até 20. And today I would like to see with you from 20 up to 100. The word from in Portuguese is the word de. So, os números de 20 até 100. Yes, this is the first one we're going to learn today. We start from the last one. So, 100 means 100, but not so fast. Let's go back and see how do we get to 100. So first, if you still remember, 20 is 20. And now we need to know what do we do in Portuguese when we want to say 21, 22, 23, and so on. So what do we do is nearly the same thing we do in English, but with one little thing different. There is the word e, meaning and, in the middle. So instead of saying 21, we actually say 20 and 1. And that in Portuguese is 21. So 3 words instead of just 2 words. Instead of 21, that would be literally 21, we need to say 21. But we don't like to, break the syllables apart, break the words apart. And what we really like to do is to run everything together, especially because here the word 20 ends at a vowel, the word e is basically a vowel. By the way, we write this E with the letter E in English, or in Portuguese with the letter E. And the word one starts also with a vowel. So having all these vowels in a row, we really need to run these 3 words together. So instead of sounding like 21, we say 21. 21. 21. 21. Much better, right? And now, because we're dealing with number even though it's in the middle of another number, 21, we need to follow that rule we've learned on the previous episode about number 1 and also about number 2. If you still remember, number 1 and number 2, they have a masculine version and a feminine version. And that is all about the following word when we use these numbers in a context. So we've learned before that number 1 is and number 2 is dois, and those 2 are the masculine version of number 1 and 2. But if the number is followed by a feminine word, number changes into uma, and number dois changes into duas. So that happens not only when we say 1 and 2, but also every time we say something with 1 and 2. For instance, 21, 22, 101, 102, 41, 42, 1001, 1002. So every time numbers 1 and 2 come up, we need to see if they are in a context, which means if they are followed by a masculine or a feminine word, in order to decide which one we should use. Okay, this is important to have in mind. If we're just counting, if we're just doing math, if we're just saying, random numbers, so not in a context, not followed by any words, we always go with the masculine. Okay? So this means that if you want to say 21, no context, we say 21. But if I'm talking about 21 feminine words, not feminine words, but a word that is feminine following by, so for instance, remember we did the example with the word for night or evening, the word noite, plural noites. So if I'm talking about 21 nights, I need to say 21 noites. If I'm talking about 21 days, being day a masculine word in Portuguese, I need to say 21 dias. 21 days, 21 dias. 21 nights, 21 noites. The same thing if I'm doing 22. 22 days, 22 dias. I can go a bit quicker. 22 dias. 22 nights. 22 noites. 22 noites. Okay, so I have this little rule in mind. One could be masculine or feminine, or uma, and two, the same thing, masculine or feminine, dois and duas. And now let's move on to the other numbers that come after 22. We have 23, again, 3 words, 23, but instead of saying 23, let's run it together, 23. 23. And now I think you can guess the following ones. It's always the same logic, always with the word e, meaning and, in the middle. So I will just say them in a row up to 29, starting with 21 again. A bit of repetition might help you to remember. So 21, 21 or 21, 22, 22 or 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and now we need to know the word for 30. And the word for 30 is 30. 30. And what we're doing after 30 is just like what we did for the 20s. So we will add the word e, and then we will repeat numbers from 1 to 9, or in Portuguese, os números de 1 até 9. And that goes 31. You see what I'm doing? Again, I'm running the 3 words together because again we have vowels in contact here. So we go 31, 31, 32, 32. You see, it's not a matter of, Portuguese people speak so quickly, that's why they run all these words together. It's not that. Even if we say it slowly, we do run the words together. So if I say it very quickly, 31, I say 31, 31, 31. But if I say it slowly, 31, I'm still running the 3 words together. So don't make any breaks in between, okay? Don't pause in between the words. So let's go from 31 to 39. 31, 31, 32, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. And now let's learn 40. The word for 40 is 40. 40. You see, it's related to the number 4. 4 starts with the same qua. 40. Okay, so now you know how it goes. Okay, you know that we need to put the 40 plus the word e and then the numbers from 1 to 9. As in 41, 42, and so on. Okay, so let's learn the word for 50. The word for 50 is 50. 50. It does relate a bit with the word cinco, the word for 5, isn't it? So 50. And then, of course, 51, 52, 53, and so on. We can then do it together in the end as a good repetition. But now I want you to focus on the words for 20, 30, 40, 50, because then you can, on the 10th, because then you can do it on your own. So we did 20, 20, 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, and now let's see 60. Okay, pay attention to this one. We say 60. 60. But then we don't like to pronounce that first syllable very well. When we speak, we go more 60. So instead of 60, when you can clearly hear the 3 syllables, we do 60. 60. And now, why did I say please pay attention? Because the following one, the one for 70, is so similar. We say se-te-ta. So 60 is 60. I'm now pronouncing it the way we normally do, 60. And the word for 70 is setenta. Setenta. Very similar, these two. Even for us, when we speak Portuguese in Portugal, it's hard sometimes to get what people say. They go 60 and we go 60 or 70. Sometimes we need to make it clear. It's okay if you need to make it clear. You can ask the person to repeat. Podia repetir, por favor? You can ask the person to speak more slowly. Podia falar mais devagar, por favor? If you don't remember these expressions, you can check on episode number 3. They're all in there. So we're nearly getting to 100. So we did 60 for 60, 70 for 70. Now 80 is 80. 80. Again, it relates to the number 8. You can use that to add your memory. 8, 80. So 8, 80. Number 9 was 9, and 90 is 90. One little difference, because when we say 9, we have this open O sound, 9, but when you go for 90, we close it into a U sound, nu, 90. So 9, 90. And finally, the one we've started with, the number 100. To pronounce it, don't forget to leave your mouth open, okay? Say 100. 100. You might recognize this sound from, for instance, the word bem, meaning well, as in when we say tudo bem. Remember that expression for is everything okay with you? Olá, tudo bem. And then you stop with the ai sound. So that's the one we should use for 100. 100. 100. Okay, so let's just go through these numbers again. I know it's a lot to take in, so you might need to listen a few times until you feel that you get this. So number 20 is 20. 20. 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. So you might have noticed that from 40 to 90, they all have the same ending, enta. So we have 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So they're all ending at enta. That could be a good tip to remember them later. Just the 20 and the 30, they don't have this ending. 20 is 20, int, so 20, and 30 is 30, so inta, 30. That is the difference. Okay, so I want you to go with you through these numbers again. Just to help you remember, I will say them all, and you can say them with me. I know it's a long way to go, but I think that will give you the confidence to really remember them. So from 20 to 100, let's do it together. Okay? Are you ready? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. I hope you're still there, and I hope this had helped you remember and pronouncing correctly all the numbers. Muito obrigada e até à próxima. Tchau!